Hello, once again, thanks for tuning into the Advanced Racing Analysis, and this is part 3 of our 2020 IndyCar preview. Part 3 pretty much is the best of the pack. The first team on the list is Aero McLaren SP. Between the Aero Corporation, McLaren F1, Sam Schmidt, and Rick Peterson, they probably have as much resources as any of the other teams. The only difference is the racing expertise and the personnel and the drivers they have. The three drivers are Fernando Alonso. He's only going for the Indy 500, but chances are if he does win the Indy 500, he will want to do more races. The other driver, Askew, he's a rookie and he is the 2019 Indy Lights champion. And this is the perfect way to come into IndyCar. This team thinks that they should be in the lead pack and should be contending for podiums regularly, so he has to contend for podiums. It's still a good situation because everybody wants that chance and he's getting that chance to make it happen. He's the top pick to be Rookie of the Year. And then you have Patricio O'Ward. This is his first full season in IndyCar and he is supposed to be fighting for the championship. The team believes he's doable because when Simon Pagenaud was with the team, his first year he's finished 5th, his second year he was 3rd, and his third year he was 5th, and then he went on to Penske. When he left, they got James Hinchcliffe, but James Hinchcliffe was never able to match those same results. And this year they have also added McLaren. In essence, they have a lot more resources now than they had when Simon Pagenaud was there. If anyone can do it, Patricio O'Ward can do it. I believe he has the speed and the knowledge to finish in the top 5. After Aero McLaren SP is Andretti Autosport, and the initials are AA, and AA could stand for a lot of stuff. Last time I said the American Armada, you could have it for the All-American, so this is what pretty much this team is, the All-American, except that James Hinchcliffe kind of spoils it with him being Canadian, but he's not there for the full season. But without James Hinchcliffe, this is the All-American squad. This team is also the Andretti Armada because they have 6 drivers. 6 drivers. You can break this team into 3 separate teams. Beginning with the first driver in the Armada is James Hinchcliffe. This is kind of bittersweet. Him coming back to Andretti now that he doesn't have a ride to go for the Indy 500 and a couple other races is kind of bittersweet. He used to be, if you can remember back, he used to be in Andretti and he was getting pretty good results. The only thing is that, in my opinion, he was kind of locked in a battle for supremacy with Hunter-Reay at the time. With this ride, however, he has a very good chance of winning the Indy 500. If he's able to win the Indy 500, this could bring back his career. Or if he's able to get good results in the other 2 races, that could also bring back his career. The next driver on the list is Veach. However, this story is kind of getting a little old. The fairy tale story of the young American driver who's got bootstrapped by his community all the way to the top of the racing ladder, but he's not getting the results that someone expects from someone in an Andretti car. He's not. Like I mentioned earlier, Sage Karam beat Veach in Indy Lights. Sage Karam was in Indy Lights for just 1 season, and that 1 season he was the champion. Veach was in Indy Lights for multiple seasons and never became champion. However, because he got the sponsorship to be in IndyCar, he's able to be there. I'm not sure how much longer he can be in this team. Maybe until someone like Rinus VeeKay, who also got good sponsorship, comes and tries to take his place, then the team might swap him. I'm not sure. After Veach is Marco Andretti. Why is he still in IndyCar? That's the question everybody's asking himself. But, I mean, you really don't have to ask yourself why. You know, I mean, the team is called Andretti Autosport. His last name happens to be Andretti. That's it. That's all you need to know. We all think that he's getting it easy, but in truth, all of us would want our parents to lay out the groundwork for us like that. However, I think that we've seen the best of Marco Andretti in IndyCar. The next on the team, Hunter-Reay. As of now, I think we have also seen the best of him, but at his best, he was a champion and he was Indy 500 winner. So he made the most of the team. I believe he could have won more championships. He could have won more races, but the team has spread itself so thin that I think the resources have been diluted. In truth, however, Andretti Autosport only has 2 elite drivers, Colton Herta and Alexander Rossi. Colton Herta is going to go all out for the championship. This is pretty much his destiny. He's going to go all out to win the championship, and he's not going to want to let anything get in his way. Eventually, he might want to go to Formula One, so this is the time for him to make his mark now. The top dog in the team, Alexander Rossi, last year, he was 188 points above any of his other teammates. 188 points. Given that you get 50 points for a win, that's a big difference. That's a big gap. So that's like 3, 4, 5 races that he could have missed, and none of his other teammates would have caught him in the standings. That either means two things. Either Andretti Autosport is no longer a top team that we think it is, and he's just getting out every inch of performance out of the car, or maybe his other teammates are just simply underperforming. So which one is it? But given that he has 3, 4 other teammates and he's the only one performing at that level, I'm not sure, because we all think Andretti Autosport is a big team, is a top-notch team, but no one else seems to be performing at that level. Only he is. So maybe it could be a combination of those two. However, this year he has more reason to even push further, because Colton Herta is coming for him and he wants to be the top dog in the team. The next team after Andretti Autosport is Chip Ganassi Racing. They have Marcus Ericson, Felix Rosenqvist, and probably Indycar's racing legend right now, Scott Dixon. I'm not sure if Felix Rosenqvist or even Marcus Ericson are the drivers to one day take over the mantle of the lead driver in Chip Ganassi from Scott Dixon. I'm not sure. But one thing is that they have something in common. Scott Dixon's agent is Stefan Johansson, who's Swedish, and the other two drivers are Swedish. That's why they all find themselves in there. But he's still pretty solid, so right now we don't even have to talk about that. But I think this is something that Chip Ganassi himself should start looking at, trying to find the next big thing. And for Felix, everybody says this guy is a top driver, but I'm not sure. He spent too much time in junior formula in Europe for me, for my liking. Usually the top drivers don't spend more than 2 years in any formula. But Scott Dixon, this chassis, the DW12 chassis, is his baby. He has won the most races, has had the most championship with this chassis. As long as this chassis is still an IndyCar, I think he has a good chance to be champion or fight for the championship. And now we are on the last team on the list. This is the top team in IndyCar. At least they should remain the top team in IndyCar, because Roger Penske is now the owner of the IndyCar series. They won't remain the top team because everybody will just let them win because their owner owns the series. They will remain the top team because the drivers will want to prove that they are the best team, because Roger Penske will no longer be on the pit board. So with him not being there, they don't want to start all of a sudden get lags and start losing. They want to prove to him that we can do it without you. We can do it, and we are disciplined enough to win without you watching over our backs. Team Penske's drivers are Helio Castroneves. So he's on here for the Indy 500, and he has a good chance to win it, but I'm not sure if his speed is falling off, especially in sports cars. So when it comes down to crunch time, sometimes he's missing those few little tenths in sports car in the Acura Penske. So I'm not sure if that's going to translate into IndyCar, especially like the Indy 500. Willpower, I have listed him behind the other two drivers because I think right now he's firmly the last of the full-time drivers on this team. He used to be one of the fastest guys in IndyCar, and this guy could have been pretty much a 5-time champion, except for little niggles, little details, minutiae details, and it just didn't happen. The next driver in Penske is Simon Pagenaud. He has pretty much dipped in form whenever IndyCar has had a change in their chassis. In 2020, now we also have another change, and the change is that we have the halo as well as the windscreen. So I'm not sure if he's going to dip down again, but those dips are noticeable. But he needs to try to win a second title for the captain. To do that, he will have to go through Joseph Newgarden, so who's pretty much the top dog on the team. Just Newgarden was a champion his first year in the team. Last year in 2019, he was also a champion. So right now on Team Penske, he's the only two-time champion. The only thing left for him to do now is win the Indy 500. Is it worth it for him to go to Formula One? Unless it's with Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, or maybe if McLaren becomes a podium contender and then they want him to, Zach Brown want him to come along, then yes. But to leave Team Penske and go to a Toro Rosso, or Force India, or Renault in their present condition is not worth it for him leaving Team Penske. The value he brings to IndyCar is a lot more than the value he will bring to Formula One unless he was winning. So right now leaving IndyCar to go to Formula One is not worth it unless it was for a top team. So that's it with the IndyCar preview. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Please subscribe and like the video.